Hey Bryce, hope all is well. Just recording a vlog for you here. It's been a couple weeks. Been sending you just emails with my training videos. Thought I'd give you a quick update because I had some time. I'm actually just at work on a Saturday here. Finished up some CPR training, some recertification. So have a little bit of time to kill before I head home. Thought I'd give you an update. So work and life is going great. Training's going awesome. Julie and I just went to Miami. We got back last week, and it was a great trip. She went there for work, and then I flew out halfway into her stay and had a vacation for the last 4 days or so. Biggest part was getting training done while I was away, so I got 2 workouts in, which helped me stay on track. And they were great workouts. So week 1 of last week, day 1, of last week was in Miami on the road. I had a squat single at 7, and I didn't feel great going into the session just because I'm on vacation, but warming up I felt great. So I hit 405 again, so that was 2 sessions in a row, and it felt great, especially just at a different gym. My all-time best, my current best for a single again felt great. And then back down sets, I was fairly aggressive. 3 sets of 5 at 345. I did all 3 sets at that same weight. And it was great. Form was great, moved well. Bench afterwards was also great. Sets of 5 at 235. I had to drop the weight a little bit, but maybe didn't need to actually after watching back, but hindsight. Just kind of fatigued and again a little underfed, not an excuse but a reason. And then day 2, back at home, first workout back home, deadlift 5 singles at 6.5 and hit 405. Another day where I felt pretty bad, like my fatigue, like my global fatigue or whatever you call it, this whole week has been really high. So currently on the deload week, and it's very necessary. So happy we're here. I'm still skipping leg press and the lunges and just doing some leg extensions. Hip is still not quite 100%, definitely much better, and it doesn't give me pain just like walking. But it feels, like 85%. There's still some scenarios where it'll pinch or hurt or something, which is, always alarming, but not when I'm squatting, not when I'm deadlifting, just random, like crossing my leg and stuff like that. Anyways, so day 3, the original plan was 2 singles at 92%, and you kind of gave me permission to go up if it felt great, so kind of rounded up. I did a single at 93%, which was 405 again. This was definitely the hardest 405 felt. Those 3 sessions in a row, and that's kind of to be expected, but it was still a low enough RPE that I decided to go up. And then so for the second single I got 415, which is a big PR for me at the moment. I put it like at an 8, maybe an 8.5, only an 8.5 just because of how fatigued I was going into the session. Considering those factors and how well it moved, it's really brings a lot of confidence. I'm really excited to see what we can get with squat. It's definitely the lift I care the most about. We've talked about that a few times. Bench work after, I'm really loving all the assistance work these days, like the dumbbell bench I like. The machine incline bench is one of my favorites, the plate loaded. The only thing I miss doing is like the chest supported row, like the plate loaded hammer strength machine. We did that for the whole first cycle, and I like that a lot. So maybe after this peak into the next cycle we kind of add that back in, but for no strategic reason other than I enjoy doing it. And then day 4, heavy bench day, another kind of huge day for me. I felt good going in, like really good bar path, felt good setup, felt good. not like an epiphany, but just kind of had this form realization, and I feel a little bit tighter on my setup, and it just helps. It showed. And so it was a set of 2 at 9. Last week was a set of 2 at 8.5, and I had hit 265. So I was planning on just hitting 270, and then after I hit 270 for 2, it felt really good, and I just couldn't help myself with that even plate loading. So I went 275 and hit it for a great double again and put it at about a 9. So 275 for 2 is actually my all-time best, even before I got injured and stopped lifting, before we've ever started training. 275 for 2, and at that time I put it at a 9.5, like I was shaking and barely locked it out. Well, not barely, but it was a lot tougher than to the other day. So that's really promising, especially because bench was kind of, well, it felt stagnant for a while, and then just getting those RPEs down a touch, it's kind of come to fruition. So bench is feeling solid. And then deadlift day 5. This was the only day that just crushed me. 4 sets of 3 at 385 or 82%. Like on paper, triples at 82% doesn't sound rough or scary, but it ended up being a really, really hard day. Probably it's just because it's the last day before deload, the last workout. But I was really sore, and I only actually ended up getting 3 sets of 3. Because the third set was like an 8, maybe even an 8.5. It was tough. The only reason I say tough is because I just felt like my low back was gonna round, and I hate that. So like you could move the weight, but with shit form, so I wasn't gonna do that. It's not worth it. So I called after 3 sets, and then all the assistance work, all the work afterwards was great. Dumbbell shoulder press. I had 3 sets of 5 at 140, so 70s. And I looked back the last time I had done shoulder press like significantly, and I think 140 for 4 was like my max. I tried to do like a 5 rep max and failed or something. So 3 sets of 5 at 140, and I put it at an 8, so it's crazy. Big PR, so really cool. But yeah, now we're on to the deload week. I'm already 2 workouts into the deload week and feeling good. My fatigue levels have dropped. Today's my rest day, and my first rest day, and I already feel much better. After squatting and deadlifting the last 2 days, I thought I'd be a little more sore, but deload's doing the trick. So really excited to start peaking next week. I'm a little off schedule, like I'm not on a Monday through Saturday. My week's starting on a Thursday. So I do have a work trip coming up in March, and it's like right at the end of the peaking, like right at the end of week 3, in the beginning of week 4, so it's like perfect timing. So I might have to coordinate and time that and add an extra rest day, or just make sure I find a gym. But other than that, everything is great. So I hope all is well with you, and we'll touch base soon. Thanks, Bryce.